Hey guys, it's another episode of Pop Culture Minefield with
Gerry
and Keith.
I'm a puppet.
Well, okay, it's Wednesday. This is episode 90.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're going to talk about Zack Snyder. He dropped another little tidbit.
I saw that.
Yeah, to basically mess with those particular non-believers about the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I saw it on Cosmic Book News and Bounding Into Comics and I think Comic Book. So, yeah, very exciting stuff.
And then we have something about Jason Momoa.
I'm all in.
Yes!
All in!
And then, of course, a little bit of shade from one of the X-Men producers, the fallout of the whole Dark Phoenix thing.
And if time allows, I would like to mention what was brought up on the internet today about Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
And with that, credits!
From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gary Kissel.
Hey guys, we're back. Thanks for sticking through the credits. And that's Keith, I'm Gary, and we're talking nerdy nerd stuff. So first thing on the batch is
Zack Snyder. He dropped a little bit of an image.
I know he wants
Yeah.
the director's cut.
Yeah.
His copy of the film released. Warner's not going to be able to deal with this. I know we're talking about Warner Brothers again.
Yeah.
But Warner's is going to be pushed to fucking release this thing.
One way or another.
And I'm excited by this because they messed him over.
Yeah.
And in messing him over, they messed over the other director too.
Yeah, they messed over
Joss
everybody.
Whedon. They messed everybody over. And I don't think if we're going to even see another Aquaman film, despite how well that did. Because, we're going to be talking about this too in the second part of this, is Jason Momoa is already eyeing other stuff.
Yeah.
But back to Zack. Zack dropped a picture of his Doomsday. Actually, there were two photos.
Yeah.
One that included, it looked like Wonder Woman and Cyborg.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, he did the far shot, which he explained actually ended up in the movie, but they made it his nephew.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget his name.
They made it
the villain of the movie. Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
And put the horns and shit on her. But that was originally Doomsday in that opening scene where she's giving the narration to Bruce in that scene and basically explaining what had happened with the mother boxes and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Originally, it was a reveal of Darkseid.
Yeah.
And so, bam. He's gonna get this director's cut. I'm telling you, we're gonna get it.
Again, I get how certain people have a problem with Zack Snyder, but let me just say, you can't fault this guy for having an amazing vision.
We can't. Well, you've explained it before.
Yeah.
We can't blame him for Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Man of Steel was a pre-cut film that it was cookie cut.
Yeah.
And he was told, direct this and we're going to give you the world.
Yeah, we're going to give you a Superman.
But shoot it our way.
And basically, they never really fulfilled their original agreement with him about allowing him the opportunity to basically make a Superman film that he would like to make. So, fine.
So we never got to see his true vision. I still don't think he understands characters like him. It's just a gut feeling because I love Zack's other movies.
Yeah.
But it's just, I would like to see his Justice League film. I love Superman a lot, but I didn't like the comics. I love the live action and animated versions of Superman. It's one of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah.
And I always felt that there was something so good about this guy, Cavill, that plays him. He really emulates and just exudes
Well, it's an awesome responsibility to play that character.
Yeah.
And he is someone that tries to live up to everything that is. When he's out and about.
Oh my God, the critics. You remember when the critics were trying to bring him down?
Yeah.
But he just kept doing what he was doing. He works on his charities, goes out in public and talks about things. And he's so fucking nice.
All that stuff you hear about Keanu, before that it was Henry Cavill. And Henry Cavill is still that way. He loves this character. He loves being Superman. And he will take photographs with fans. He'll sign autographs. I mean, as long as you're respectful.
Yeah, I've never heard a story of him rejecting a fan.
Oh, he's just...
No matter where he's at.
Yeah.
He appreciates it. He deeply appreciates it.
He really... Look, that whole thing about him wearing the Superman t-shirt and standing out in Times Square and seeing if anybody notices, that was freaking funny, man. I mean, how do you not notice Superman standing there?
That's Superman. Could you imagine Christopher Reeve having done that? My God,
well, no,
people would have lost their minds.
Hugh Jackman just wearing a Wolverine t-shirt standing in Times Square. You know he'd get mugged.
Oh yeah. So, but either way it goes, we would like to see Zack Snyder's, and I didn't think it was going to happen. And the reason why I didn't think it was going to happen was because Zack wasn't initiated. He was not involved with pushing for this. He's initiated now.
He's just been dropping stuff here and there. And there's been a lot of people that keep, a lot of naysayers that want to make it seem like, well, this is all just post-creative editing stuff that he's doing, or he's pulling stuff out.
No, he finished his movie.
Yeah.
They went back and reshot and edited out a lot of the stuff that he made.
Yeah.
And put in, don't get me wrong, I like Joss Whedon's interpretation.
Yeah.
My problem was the lip, obviously, Cavill's lip, and two, making Batman jokey.
Yeah.
Huge mistake. Yeah. Batman is dry-witted, and he will only be funny, and when he's funny, it would make you go, wait, did you just crack a joke? And then he would go, no. That's Batman. He would not say things like, oh, something's bleeding. I mean, that's Indiana Jones. That's not Batman.
Yeah. And the other thing is, look, I mean, you've already, there's already been stuff dropped out there pertaining to the actor that actually was Darkseid.
Yep.
And the shooting.
Well, you had Ares too, the actor that played Ares. Really upset that he only got listed in the credits as a stunt performer. It's like, dude played Ares and fights him. He fights Darkseid. Yeah. It's like, he didn't just fight Darkseid, he fought against Steppenwolf. It's like, they took that completely out and gave him a stunt credit.
Again, all that stuff from before from Warner Brothers made it seem like it was just, it's minor stuff. Yeah, you're talking some major
The movie wasn't complete, and we need to finish the film. He has to go deal with his daughters.
Think about this. Just a day or two back, we celebrated what would have been the premiere.
That's right.
Justice League 2.
That was this weekend.
Yeah.
It should have been the release of the second Justice League film. And we, of course, didn't get it.
Everything you enjoyed about the third act of Endgame was what they were going to have in this movie. Everything.
And this is, once again, falls under the auspices of Warner Brothers fucks with their directors. They don't let their directors do their job. Yeah. Shoot themselves in the foot. And it's like, I wonder why that movie failed. Boy, it seemed like it was a better film when we were thinking about it than what we were seeing on the screen. Warner Brothers, populated by idiots, like most of Hollywood, idiots. But anyway, moving on to Jason Momoa again.
Oh, Jason Momoa comes out and he let it be known that he'd be interested in playing Wolverine, which set the internet on its ear.
It was just horrifying what it did to the internet today. People were being calling 911.
Yeah.
The fire department was showing up going, what's this about the internet? Is it on fire? But no, seriously, him I mean, because there was also talk about him as Sabretooth. But
well, that came the day after. Basically,
the Wolverine that he wants.
He let it be known that he wouldn't mind, playing the character. Now, here's the thing.
And this tells you that something's up with Aquaman.
Well, the other thing is that this is not too long after Keanu Reeves let it be known that he'd be interested in Wolverine. Now,
dude,
both these actors are great, but one is a little older and one is way past the age one would have to be in order to play the part. If you believe a lot of the stories that you're hearing, how Marvel Studios is actually preparing to do an X-Men film soon, that's not true.
5 years minimum.
5 years minimum, but this could take as long as maybe even 6, 7, or 8 years. Keanu Reeves is 54 years old. Do the math.
I'm going to be 60 by the time the next X-Men movie comes out. Yeah. Oh, and I will be going if I'm not dead.
and kind of sort of do the same thing with Jason Momoa. He's going to be almost about another decade older by the time they get around to it. I'm telling you right now, I think both these guys are good.
Yep.
It's just the math isn't working out. That's
all.
Yeah,
because there are too many X-Men. We've explained this before, that there are just too many X-Men to be releasing it. That's why Fantastic Four is the likely candidate to be moving forward. And of course, that involves The Rock, because that hit the news too.
Yeah.
And so we've got The Rock interested in playing, and apparently it's already maybe a deal that he's going to be playing The Rock. Well, is he doing the voice?
Well, he's playing the Thing.
What did I say?
The Rock.
The Rock is playing The Rock.
Well, that kind of is literal, but
I'm so smart.
I think Ben Grimm is a good part for The Rock.
I think he's the right age too.
Yeah.
Even though we've talked about that he's, in the comics he was a lot younger.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter considering that this is also the same thing like with Vin Diesel and Groot. So after the initial movie, you can just pretty much have a CG actor and not have to worry about it, and then The Rock will actually get to do a lot more than say, I am Groot.
I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. Anyway, Vin Diesel his range is amazing.
Yeah,
as an actor.
Yeah, look, this is good news. It's good news to know that so many major actors want to be Wolverine. Chances are,
none of them are going to be Wolverine.
Yeah, I think
they're probably going to go with an unknown.
Either an unknown or definitely somebody who, as of right now, is probably around the age of 25.
How about that internet thing about Danny DeVito?
That was funny.
I know.
That could have worked 30 years ago.
Danny DeVito is the Wolverine. But I guess we can move on to the X-Men again. We're going to talk about our favorite person.
Well, what had happened was there had been online the director of Dark Phoenix decided that he was going to apologize for the movie. Okay.
While it's in theaters.
Yeah, while it's in theaters. Okay. Well, also on top of that, then the news comes out that one of the producers, as they put it, I'll put it a different way. The person that's directly responsible for bringing the X-Men up to Fox and being the head person of all of this stuff is producer Lauren Schuler-Donner, I should say.
Richard Donner's wife.
And basically, she had been getting contacted, especially in social media, basically condolences and other things about the movie. And she wanted it known that in no way did she have anything to do with Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, or X-Men Apocalypse. Which caused people like me and others to respond to her.
You remember my response?
Yes.
Was a fake quote. I like doing fake quotes. It's like, Laura Shula Donner, if I directed or produced this film, it would have sucked in a whole different other way. It still would have sucked.
Basically, in trying to throw shade, basically she made it possible to pretty much put it out there that basically she's responsible for all the other films that sucked, and for the first series of films and the need to have to reboot it.
Yeah, and what I find funny is because we've talked about this ad nauseum, that there are X-Men films that we did enjoy.
Yes.
They weren't perfect.
Yes.
But they were really good. Which, X1 and X2.
That's when we agree. And for me, a perfect trilogy would be X1, X2, and Logan. That'd be the perfect way to,
Well, I liked the Wolverine. Yes. Because I thought it was, in my opinion, the truest X-Men film adapting from a comic.
Yeah.
It was really close.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that it still was part of the X-Men universe because it ends with a great connection bridge scene at the airport.
Yes.
Which connects them back to Magneto and the X-Men.
Yeah, and if you add the whole thing about the costume, even better.
I loved the Wolverine. I thought it was a solid story. The third act could have been a lot better, no question. But the fact is it was a solid film all the way from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of the truest Wolverine stories. Yeah. Because it was based on the miniseries that became a trade paperback. Yeah. And which I'm a huge fan of. Yeah. And of course, it was the thing that was snuck to him when Laura Shula Donner forbade any comics being read by the cast or crew. Yeah. But it was snuck to Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman was given a copy.
And I think now there's got to be a statute of limitations. Look, I just sort of assumed that there were two people that were probably responsible for him getting those books. Producer Tom DeSanto, producer Kevin Feige.
Yep. And we've talked about that before because I was unaware of that they had snuck him in until he told me. I was like, really? I was like, oh my God. And that's what made him such a big fan of Wolverine. Not just getting to play him in the film, but he read the comics. And he, from day one, from the first film, he wanted to make the Wolverine. And so when they finally got to do it, him and his buddy director made that movie. He ended up being fired, the director. Yeah. Which is sad because Richard Donner was secretly shipped in to finish shooting the film and ghost directing it. Yeah. Schuller's husband. Yeah. And that might be why the third act kind of sucked. I don't know.
The movie was just for me, X-Men, the Wolverine itself, I should say, the Wolverine was a nice departure from a lot of the problems with X-Men Origins Wolverine. But
yeah, that's not on either of our lists.
No. Well, the opening credits, the best Wolverine movie you never saw. If they had just stuck to what they had done, what they did in the opening credits of that film, and turned that into 2 or 3 movies, that would have been a whole lot better than...
Who is the one that has the responsibility for having done that to Deadpool?
Oh, that was Rothman. Tom Rothman.
Tom Rothman is a piece of shit.
Yeah, he ran 20th Century Fox, and he's the one that everybody reported to, and he wasn't shy about letting it be known what he wanted these movies to be like and how they should work. In fact, X-Men Origins Wolverine sucked partially because Rothman was all up in that movie. He had changes made against the wishes of the director.
Well, he was the one who fired the director. And then, of course, hired him back to make Logan. Yeah. Which they have left him alone. I think that the Wolverine would have been as good as Logan. And Logan is where, and we agree 100% across the board, is where it should have ended.
Now, just to let you know, Rothman is no longer... He left Fox a while back ago.
Oh, did he die?
No, he didn't die. He's in charge of Sony, which is the reason why I keep telling people...
Don't expect the Marvel deal.
Don't expect Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios to continue to have anything to do with the Sony films.
Yeah, they've been to the hotel, had their sex. It's done.
It is done.
So
unless
Sony is moving on to the next person they're going to have sex with.
Well, unless, Sony can somehow get Disney to pony up a large sum of money that might keep them interested in.
Now they have the money. Disney has the money.
Oh yeah, Disney.
They are like the Catholic Church. They are just sitting on top of loads of money. So much money that I don't even know how. They must hire like an army of accountants to keep tabs
Mickey
on
Mouse
that
is
shit.
walking around with pockets full of cash. A $20 bill hits the ground. It's cheaper for him to keep walking than to spend time.
Yeah, the only other studio I see that competes with them is currently Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon has nearly endlessly deep pockets.
Yeah.
Nearly.
Warner Brothers keeps up with Disney as far as the amount of money they make every year. Although this year especially, there's no way Warner Brothers is keeping pace with what Disney's doing. But I gotta say that overall, all of this is outside of what Disney's doing is a mess. And there's a reason why Fox and this Dark Phoenix film went out the way that it did. It was a complete mismanaged, botched operation, which had it been run. Well,
People keep talking about how if they kept the original ending where the battle in space, and I'm like going, no, you don't understand. This movie sucked from day one.
Yeah,
that battle in space wouldn't have saved it.
And the whole thing about it matched another movie. They had no way to know what Captain Marvel was going to be like. Think about this, guys. It's not like they contacted Kevin Feige and asked for a script to Captain Marvel. Even if they had done that, it's not like Kevin Feige's going to go, well, here's our script. Well, you can see for yourself.
And for the people out there that think that somehow Disney sabotaged the film, no, Fox sabotaged that film. Early on, Laura Schuller Donner sabotaged that film. Tom Roth.
Yeah, Tom Rothman. But here's the thing. You know how we were saying, Warner Brothers? Yeah, well,
Fox is like double fisting, shooting their own feet, shooting everybody else's feet.
They love it. They get off on it.
Oh, God. and you're going to hear this, and this will be the last thing before we end the episode, is you keep hearing this franchise fatigue.
Yeah.
It is a made-up thing. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as franchise fatigue. This is an excuse that the studios use when a movie tanks, okay?
And they can't explain it. And
then the media jumps on this, and Variety, I don't give a shit. I consider anybody you're only as good a publication as the worst story you peddle. And when these publications peddle that concept that there's actually a thing called franchise fatigue, you're a rag. You're no longer integrity driven. You're just a rag. And Variety, you guys go fuck yourselves. You and your bloggers. You guys are the worst. Anybody who uses bloggers to write their news are just the worst. And I will agree with Craig, because Craig called me on it today, that I did a across the board blanket. I love you, Craig. But our producer called me on it that I he did a blanket statement on me about how I always go too far with my statements. But the fact is he is right, because Deadline's a good magazine.
Yeah.
But the Wrap, I have problems with the Wrap. I have problems with Variety because they write for the studios. And their blogosphere is full of people who have no journalistic integrity. They don't even understand journalism. None of them have ever taken a course in it, I guarantee it. And they write information and they don't source. They're worse than we got this covered sometimes. And that's a dig. That's an insult. Look, I want We Got This Covered to succeed. But if they keep throwing out stories without sourcing, they're not going to make it. You've got to have a source. Let people know. It's the problem I have with Mike Zero. I love Mike Zero. I think he's the sweetest, nicest Star Wars fan ever. But he doesn't cite his sources.
Yeah.
And when you're going to start telling people that this is, a rumor, but this might be happening, well, how do we know that might be? How do we know you're not making it up? You cite. That's how you do it. And a lot of the people we use, I mean, you probably know who we use. We get a lot of stuff from Gary Beegler.
Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of stuff from Dunecock, Midnight's Edge, Mecca. I love Mecca. She's adorable. Who else do we listen to and get info from? Well, obviously the Rags, Variety. but Deadline is not a rag. I consider Deadline probably the last bastion of journalistic integrity in Hollywood. And that's it. Past that, I consider all the other ones pretty much shit. Yeah. They have good stuff, but they're only as good as the worst stuff that they peddle. And I would think you would agree with that. And with that, that's Keith.
That's Gerry.
And we're out of here. Get off the lawn.
Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description.
Y'all come back now, you hear?